Hey everybody, welcome to Fatso Radio. How you doing? Episode number 87. Folks, a short episode tonight, but I hope it's a good one. I recap what I'm doing for Sober October. I recap how I ended up my running for September, and I got a new job. Here's a hint. The messenger. Check it out. Also, don't forget to check out Volpe Martial Arts. VolpeMartialArts.com for more details. KW's, Kitchener-Waterloo's, hottest. It's over a year that we've been open, but it's still the hottest, newest Kung Fu and Hapkido martial arts school in the region. Check it out. I love you all. Lily, take it away.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso, a very first podcast show.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Fatso Radio, episode number 87. Did I say that right? Episode number 87. That's right. What do I got for you? What do I have for you today? So today, we're going to start off by saying it's Sober October, right? So no weed. That's it. I quit. I can't do it. I'm just kidding. It's tough. It's going to be challenging, and I'm going to talk to you about it. But before I get into that, I'm going to go through what do I get into, right? So October, no weed, a month of change. This month, like every other month, but this month is a different kind of change. We'll get into it. First off, I want to get into sober. Actually, before I even get into Sober October, or before I dive back into Sober October, I finished off September. The last episode last week, I mentioned that I was going to, or attempt to, trying to get to my 5K, right? My goal for September was to try and get the 5K. I never got to it. I never hit my goal. It's not the end of the world, folks. It's not the first time I've had a minor setback or a minor disappointment. It's not even a setback or a disappointment, really. It's more like just never hit my goal. I mean, maybe we can talk about that, right? I try and set a lot of goals for myself. I try and set a lot of small goals. Sometimes they're big goals, sometimes they're small goals. Losing 100 pounds was a big goal, right? But it was started at, 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, incrementally. Yeah, so I never got to 5K. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I mean, let's recap. It's basically the first time I started running. Pretty much ever. I mean, I think in college I ran a tiny bit. In high school I ran a few times when the coaches were looking at me, right? I had to run around the poles. But really, it's the first time that I really attempted to just try to run consistently. And it wasn't as consistent as I even wanted to, right? I thought initially to run every single day. After some consultation from some close family and friends, they said, no, don't run every day. So I tried to run every second day. Funny enough, and maybe it was due to things like their good advice, or maybe it was their good advice that showed me, or was an example, I guess, rather, how, or why maybe what they were trying to tell me was that the reason why you don't want to do it every day, a couple of reasons: A, you might get hurt; B, you might get, demotivated or discouraged and things like that. But for me, I'm not sure exactly why I never got to my 5K, but one of the reasons why it was that it was tough. It was difficult. I got to around 3.5K, I think, or 3K on most of my running days, actually just under 3K on most of the running days, but a couple times I got a little bigger. And all in all, I do feel really good about the fact that I got running, right? I went out and I ran. I ran every second day or every third day. I actually ended up kind of cutting the month short, and it's not something that I typically do. It's weird. It's a weird month. And I kind of had a little bit of, thoughts about this month ahead of time. And I was thinking about the idea that I wasn't going to kind of hit my goal. Maybe I was a little bit of a psychology that ended up being played on myself, but nonetheless, it's a learning experience, right? I understand now, or at least I know now, that I can run a little bit. I can run a couple K, right? I can run 3K, and I can work my way up. I mean, if I could run 3K, then there's no doubt in my mind that I could get to 5K, right? It's just, I got to put the effort to it. I got to put the time on it. And last month was also another weird thing about last month, is that I fell off my diet quite a bit. I really did. I'm not going to say that I'm not saying that as a diet, because I'm still trying to lose weight. I'm on this hardcore thing. I'm still trying to lose weight, of course. I'm still trying to optimize and get into the best possible shape I can. But really, just my regular way of eating now is, the ketogenic or even a carnivore way of eating. And what happened was that I cheated. I cheated more than I normally would. I really don't cheat that much normally, right? But I did. And I had some things that I know when I eat certain foods, it really does affect me. It really affects, my joints, affects my digestion. And it was another example of that this month. So there's a couple times, not making excuses, I'm just explaining, right? When I don't follow my diet as well as I can, or I don't stay on track, first of all, I don't feel as good as I possibly could when I'm not eating my best diet, right? But not only that, I don't feel as good mentally, but also physically. And, you know, my joints don't hurt when I'm on my diet. It's, you know, so I was off the diet a little bit. I mean, I'm not sure why. Maybe it was stressful for me, running, a new thing. It could be it, right? Also, running is a little bit, maybe a little more glycolytic than I'm used to. So maybe I did deplete a little more glycogen than normal. So maybe I was extra craving carbs. So maybe that was it too. But really, I think excuse me. Really, I think the main thing, or a couple of things, was that physically it was a challenge, right? And mentally it was a challenge. And that's just it. It's life. I'm not going to try and make excuses. That's what it was. But I'm happy. I'm happy that I experienced it. I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy that I did another challenge, right? So this month, what am I doing for this month? Again, for a recap, if you've been listening all along, you probably already know what I'm going to say. But if you haven't listened all along, welcome to Fatso Radio. A good time to remind everybody. This podcast is about losing weight, about feeling better, about getting better shape and getting in better health by taking advantage of a ketogenic diet or even a carnivore diet, right? The whole idea of Fatso Radio was that fat is not our enemy, right? It's not our enemy. We need to embrace fat. We need to really relish fat. Better word probably I can find. But for the benefits, right? Fat has benefits. The calories, energy is one thing that fat brings you, right? But it has all these different vitamins and nutrients, and they're needed. They're very much needed for our whole body, right? So that's Fatso Radio again. So for October, what am I doing? You probably heard me again, right? So no weed and basically hardcore on my diet or my way of eating again, right? Last week I mentioned no weed, no marijuana, no cannabis, whatever you want to call it. And then I said no cakes, right? Or sweets, but really I'm just going to say no sugar. It's easier for me to say no sugar completely. The real challenge here, this is a real challenge. The real challenge would be for me to eat something sweet every 3 days, but only every 3 days, right? Or every 2 days, but only every 2 days. Like that would be torture for me. That would be torture. It's funny because I talked about this with my wife. I talk about this with my family and friends and anybody who basically wants to listen to it. But I often say that it's it's that one little decision, or one little choice that gets me to, that puts me, in a state of 3 days good eating or 3 days bad eating, right? It's kind of how it happens for me. Sure, I'd like to maybe get to a point where I can have a sweet and not being blown off my diet for a couple of days, or not being, blown way off, of course, for a couple of days. But maybe that takes time too. Right? I mean, the whole idea of moderation, I mean, I think I need to spend a lifetime just trying to decide what moderation means, because it is different for everybody. It really is. So what do I mean not what do I mean, but what am I doing? Okay. No weed. Great. No, and no sugar. So first day, well, today's the second, right? So yesterday was the first day. Today's the second day. Today's a little, I don't want to say if it's harder. Yeah, it's on my mind, right? So without getting, I mean, I can get into, I want to get into it. So normally I'm a regular marijuana smoker, cannabis, whatever you want to call it, right? Usually, in evenings or after work, or if I'm had a long day, or if a workout, it's just mentally, physically, spiritually, I'm not sure exactly what it does or what it did for me, but I've been using it for, many years. And not even that many years, I guess probably about 10, 15 years, maybe, I guess. But when I started smoking marijuana, it was like, remember, it's illegal, right? So anybody who's under the age of 20 or 25, or anybody who remembers when it became illegal, or legal rather, just a couple of years ago, people who remember living in the world when it was illegal, we weren't, for the most part, people weren't really proud of the fact that they were smoking marijuana. And for the most part, a lot of us hid it. I can't speak for everybody, but I even hid it from my family, from my friends. But then it got to a point where I thought, well, I'm not going to hide it anymore. It really has benefited me, and it really added to my life, right? Maybe not added to my life as far as like it's an addition where, without it, I'm not the same. Maybe not like that kind of addition or adding to my life, but I can say that it really, it put things into perspective. It forced me to look at things in a different way. That's the key. It forced me, maybe not forced me, it allowed me to look at things in a different way. Really, really, really. It's all about perspective for me. It's all about, with marijuana, at least, how it started, at least anyway, right? So when I started experimenting or smoking, I was like, wait a second, you're in an altered state. You're seeing things different than at least my own normal programming, right? I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for myself what marijuana did, what cannabis did, and what it still does for the most part, is that it allows me to think from a different perspective, put myself in another person's shoes. So we've always heard that term, right? Put yourself in their shoes, see how they feel. It's really hard to do. Marijuana, cannabis, weed, whatever you want to call it, for me at least, right? It does that. It helps me to put myself in their shoes, to think how they would think, to feel how they would feel, or to at least imagine how they would feel, right? And by doing that, it not only does it humble you, or it humbled me at least, right? Maybe humble is not even the right word, but it allowed me, and it made me think and really turn introspective, right? Really turn inside to say, what's going on inside, as opposed to what's going on outside, right? I can find a million things wrong with the world. I can find a million things wrong with politicians, but what marijuana did for me at the beginning, and it still does, right? It turns the focus inside, right? And there's times in your life when you need that. You don't need that all the time, I'll tell you. And that's what I've learned as well. There's times where you don't need to spend hours or days or weeks or months or whatever, introspective, looking inside. But there is time when you need to do that. And it's valuable, because when you do that, you find stuff. You find stuff that's sometimes buried deep. Sometimes it's not even just buried, but it's just it is buried, but it's just not intentional, right? Just things fall over on top of, the reasons or the real core self. Or even just the ability to look at things, like I said, in a different way. And marijuana for a lot of people, cannabis for a lot of people, helps them do that. And it did that for me as well. And it does that for me as well. So other things as well, though, like I said, it helps with joints, or it helps just in a general sense, and even a very, almost an analgesic sense. It does help, de-stress or calm you down if you had a long day. But it really is different for everybody. There's times, and I'll be honest, there's times where I was stressed out and I was smoking a joint and it didn't make it better. I don't know. There's most times when it did, right? But I learned also through the years that it's not a good idea to go to something like that when you feel that way, even though it may be natural. So again, I'm not a drug counselor, I'm not an alcohol counselor, I'm not an addictions counselor by any means, but I think it's generally probably not great, or it's not a great habit to do, or it's not a great thing to get into habit, is to always go to something like a crutch. And I know, because I've done it, I did it my whole life, right? Food was my crutch. Food was my go-to, my pacifier, if shit was bad, food was there. Right? If I was sad, food was there. If I was happy, food was there. If I was angry, food was there. And in specific details too, right? Like, I was angry at my family sometimes when I was a kid. Everybody is, right? Everybody's angry at your family sometimes. Everybody's angry at your mom and dad sometimes. It's part of growing up. It's part of realizing that that it's just life, right? But how do you cope with it? I don't know how this turned to sugar, but I'm glad it did, because October is not just about weed, it's about sugar as well. My coping mechanism probably started with food. Way before weed, right? Way before cigarettes, way before alcohol. It was food, right? Now, you're probably not going to do a whole lot of comforting, or you're not going to do a whole lot of addiction facilitating if you go to steak when you're feeling depressed, or if you're tired or anything like that. But sugar does it, right? And it did it for me. And I don't know the details. I don't know the intricacies of the medical, exactly the neurons and the receptors and all this stuff, but I'm telling you, it lights your brain up, right? For me, it's weird because it never got me high. It never got me high. And I know what high is because I've smoked weed, right? I know what drunk is. I've drank alcohol. So it didn't get me high, but what it did, I think, looking back now, is it pacified me. That's probably one of the most painful words I've ever said. Why do I need to be pacified, right? Why do we need to be pacified? On one sense, maybe it's natural because there's just natural trauma in life, tiny little traumas or big traumas. Everybody needs to feel pacified or feel secure. So I get that part of it. But the other side of it is, it would have been better, I guess, if we had another outlet, right? Or if I had another outlet, or if kids in general have other outlets. But I didn't, and it didn't matter. It doesn't matter now to look back and figure out kind of why I didn't. But the best thing to realize is, now that we have options, we realize why, right? I realize what it did and what it probably perpetually did to me over the years, right? I had girlfriends in high school like everybody else, right? We broke up. We didn't break up. We broke up. We got back together. It was good times. It was bad times. If I got dumped, and I got dumped, folks, let me tell you, I got dumped. But if I got dumped, I would be sad. And I would cry, of course. And I would then get angry, and I would call my buddies, and we would go out and we get drunk. You'd feel better or whatever it is. But before going out and calling your buddies and getting drunk, before that, it was going to get some ice cream, right? Or go to get, I don't know, anything. Just go to McDonald's or Dairy Queen or whatever. I'm going to call it all those places. Or even just going to in your cupboard and getting cookies. even if they're homemade cookies, even if they're just homemade desserts or whatever it is, you can still overdo everything, right? And it's sugar specifically that you can overdo. And it's sugar specifically that has that connection for some people. Not everybody. For some people, it is the dragon. For me, it is a dragon, right? Chasing the dragon. We've all heard that term. You know, if you haven't, it's like a drug user. I think it's traditionally a heroin user or morphine or whatever it was, but chasing that high, right? But for me, it wasn't chasing a high, but it was more like it was just pulling me again. It was like, here's that comfort, right? Chasing the comfort, I think it was, or chasing the security, or chasing the protection, or whatever you felt, or whatever I felt from it, you know, and everything from, you know, whatever, like I said, a girlfriend breaks up with you, or you blow your knee out in football. Hey, that happened to me in high school. You think I was pretty upset about it? Of course I was upset about it, right? Not going, or, you know, not winning the city championship in football. You think that was pretty fucking upsetting? Of course it's upsetting. Of course it's upsetting, right? But big things as well, parents getting divorced, losing loved ones and what have you, and all things like that. So I think a lot of times, for me at least anyway, I can't speak for everybody, but I know for me, sugar became a crutch, became the thing that I went to comfort me. And there was times in the past where marijuana was like that as well, I'll be honest with you guys. So it's good to reevaluate things. It's good to take a different perspective. Taking a break now for a month is another perspective, right? It's another perspective builder, another perspective shift, where the first time I smoked marijuana, or probably the first 2 times I smoked, I'll be honest with you, was in high school. I don't know who it is, probably Bosslar. It's probably, or Barsani, one of you guys, calling you out, or Nichols. I'm sure it was one of you guys. But I didn't get high. I think we were in class, probably, on the smoke break, and went back into class, and I didn't feel high. And the second time, maybe not even. But then, first, third, or whenever it starts kicking in for people, and everybody's different. Some people it's the first time, some people it's not the first time. But whenever it is different for people, it kicks in. And for me, it changed. Like I said, it brought perspective. Perspective. Take yourself out, zoom around, and look at the situation. Look at your life from a different perspective. Okay, I did it to me, and now it's going to do it again. I'm sure it is, right? Like I said, I'm not high all day, and I'm not stoned all day. So it's not going to be like I've never been without marijuana, of course, right? But it's the regular kind of use that is going to be, that is an adjustment, and that is difficult. So for now, for example, it's 8:20 or 8:30 right now, or 8 something right now. I can't even tell the time, but I can. It's 8:29. Sorry. But so. Was it crazy all day today? No, it wasn't crazy all day, but did I think about it? Of course I thought about it. Of course I thought about it, right? If you're a regular, even semi-regular drinker, and you're going to give it up for a month, maybe the first day you won't think about it. Maybe the second day you won't think about it. But if you're normally drinking every 3 days or every second day or whatever your frequency is, eventually you're going to think about it. So what do? I'll be honest, folks, today wasn't the most productive day, but I did get some work done. Got some stuff online. I got some planning done. I did a lot of housekeeping, which was good. Got some cleaning. But the key is to keep yourself busy, because what are you going to do if you sit down? I mean, we look at our phone all day anyway. Whether you smoke weed or whether you drink or whether you do meth, you're probably looking at your phone. So what do? We're looking at our phone, and then, okay, well, it's 5 o'clock. When normally I'd go outside and smoke a joint or something, right? So that was a little bit tough. I don't know. Maybe the more I talk about it, the better it gets. Of course, this is day 3 tomorrow, and day 4 and day 5, and it's going to go on. For me, in the past, when I've taken a break, and it's been a few years, but when I've taken a break in the past, usually a couple days, usually 3 days, I was like, I'm kind of jonesing. I'm kind of feeling like, I could use one or whatever. After 3 days, it's done. One of the reasons why I want to take a full month tolerance break, because for tolerance, right? Not only because it's just a challenge. I want to see what I do, and I like to challenge myself every month. But also for a tolerance break, right? It is good to kind of, from what I read anyway, from what I hear, and it does instinctually kind of feel like a good idea, maybe to take a break every once in a while. I would have argued probably for years that you probably didn't need to take a break, and even now maybe I'm not convinced, but who knows? I'm in the middle of a break. It's 2 days into the break. Now, if I cave Friday or whatever, or if I can't last any more days, then I'll come on here next week and say I screwed up. Sorry, guys. But this is it, right? So what else do I have going on this month? This month, like every other month, is a bunch of change, right? I just got notified. I'm so happy that I got a job. Hey, I got a job. I've been out of work for a few months. Yeah. I know you probably sound, geez, Carlo, you don't look like you're upset being off work for a couple months. No, I wasn't that upset, right? I wasn't a huge fan of my old job. What are you going to do? But this is something very different. This is something outside. I'm going to be walking a lot, which I love walking, and I'm going to be delivering the mail. That's right, folks. It's almost a perfect job for me, right? I'm a communicator. I want to talk to you. So what I'm going to do, I'll bring a mail to your house. Maybe not your house, but in the local area, wherever I work, wherever I deliver, that is. So letter carrier. I start with Canada Post in a few weeks. I'm excited about it. If anybody's followed me, like I said, even if you just know me as a friend or a family member and haven't followed my podcast, you know that I'm obsessed with walking. I love to walk. I love going outside. I love listening to podcasts. I love listening to music. I love thinking about my podcast when I'm on the walk. So I'm excited. I'm so excited, right? I need some cheddar. I need some money. So having a job is going to be good. It's going to be good. My wife will really appreciate that. But not only that, it's a great change. It's a new career. It's completely different for me, folks. I spent a lot of time at a desk in companies that I didn't really ever feel like I fit. I'll be honest with you, right? In the roles that I had in tech business, I didn't feel like I fit in that well. There were a couple of roles or a couple of situations where I was training, I was doing some coaching. I felt like I fit then because I felt really comfortable and I really love people and I really love seeing, the light bulb go on in someone's eyes or in someone's head when they learn something. But I also just like meeting people and communicating with people. So I have a chance to say hi to people. I mean, I'm not going to have long conversations. I'm going, hey, here's your mail. Have a good day. I mean, hopefully when COVID passes over, we'll go again to be touching hands and maybe I can shake hands with people. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm going to be going out, getting my exercise, doing a civil duty, right? Delivering the mail. So that's a big change and I'm excited about it. It starts on the 14th. I do some training. There's a week training inside. There's a week on the road, another week in training inside. And then it's kind of see where you are. You start out casual at first, right? So it's going to be a bit of a change, another adjustment, right? Another adaptation that we have to do, that I have to do. Folks, all I do is adapt. It seems like it, right? And it's not just me. All of us do is adapt. We're master adapters. So if there's a situation, get ready for it to change. That's just life. That's how it is for me. It seems like it is how it is for me anyway. And it has been, and I'm okay with it. I really am okay with it. I'm one of those people that I actually do like change. Even the change that's tough, I do usually welcome it. Yes, I'm human. I'm going to complain about it sometimes. I'm going to bitch about it. I'm going to, whatever. But I do know that change is necessary. It's essential, right? And it's inevitable. Even if you don't want to change, you will change. Life changes for you sometimes, and it's a good reminder it brings up the point, the old adage that everybody always says or whatever they call it, that, if you don't take care of your health, or if you don't take time to spend on your health now, you'll be forced to later. And it's true. I really believe that if you take advantage of your health, if you take advantage of this gift that we've been given, you're going to go through challenges. You probably go through challenges anyway. That's the thing. So maybe it's not necessarily like a karma thing, but it's like, put the time in if you can. Put some resources in. Use the brain power to figure out what's the best thing for you to do, best thing for you to eat, best way for you to move. And really that's it, folks. I want to have a short episode today because I just want to recap again. Sober October, no weed, no sweets. The sweets thing, again, I want to talk. The sweets and the weed thing does go together. It goes together because if I stay away from weed, it makes it easier for me to stay away from sweets. Hand in hand. And if I stay away from sweets, I don't know what the play on that way is, but I know on the other way, it's definitely a thing, right? So even though I've gotten better with the munchies over the years, I've, found salami and cheese and just cook a steak if you're hungry rather than have chips or rather than have, sugar and candy. But I still have that. I still have that craving. I'm still probably addicted to sugar, right? I don't know. I don't know if you ever break an addiction. People say that are addicted to alcohol or drugs that they're never fully broken. I don't know. I think you probably can, but I think that at the same time, you're very likely, or not very likely, sorry, you have a tendency to fall back into it. And I know for me, absolutely, sugar, like I said, sugar proves its value, its currency maybe, or it's so powerful. Sugar proves its power to me, right? On a regular basis, almost every time I eat it. The odd time I'll have something like, I'm okay. But usually if I have something, especially if it's really, really sweet, and I'm done for another day. Like it's brutal, right? So that's a deterrent, right? So no weed, no sugar, no crap. Big changes. Always big changes in this family. Always big changes in this house. Always big changes at the Fatso Radio. Fatso Palazzo. It's a cool night tonight, actually. I got my toque on. Oh, Meet the Butcher. Prime Cuts. Don't forget to check him out. My boy, Nick. This episode is also brought to you by Volpe Martial Arts, folks. Volpe Martial Arts, KW, Kitchener-Waterloo, Guelph, Cambridge, wherever you are in this area, come check us out. Hapkido and Kung Fu. Hapkido is a Korean-style martial arts, focuses very much so on self-defense, techniques, and procedures to defend yourself, right? Kung Fu focuses, of course, on forms and weapons, and of course, self-defense as well. It's an amazing fusion, folks. Sifu Adam, my brother, brings it together. KW's finest. Check it out, volpemartialarts.com. Okay, last thing I want to talk about after I mentioned my job, which I already did, starting October 13th, is basically what I'm going to do for exercise this month. And it's perfect. It's perfect because October is my month for walking. It's probably going to rain. I know. If I remember anything about football, playing high school football, is that it rained in October. In November, it rained a lot in October. It even snowed on Halloween a few times. So what am I going to do in October? I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk a lot. I'm going to try and walk. I did 10K yesterday, which was great. It was a 2-hour walk. Oh man, it was just shy of 2 hours, an hour and 57 minutes or so. But I love walking. You know, when I spent the last 4 years or so at my old job at a desk, which I fought for a stand-up desk for 3 years, finally got it in the last year before I got let go. But one of the best parts of that job, actually the best part of that job was that I walked every day at lunch, just down at the there's a little lake, man-made lake right out front of the building there. That was the best part of my job. So I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to try and walk a lot, probably maybe 10K every couple days if I can. Maybe some smaller walks in between. I might even run. I'm not going to promise you guys because I know what you're going to say. Carlo, where's your running? Just kidding. I'm going to walk. I'm going to walk a lot. And this walking is perfect prep for a letter carrying job, folks. That's right. I'm going to go door to door, delivering mail right to your door. I'm excited. You can call me the messenger. Well, I guess I am a messenger. Bringing you the message every week, folks. And remember, this week is like every other week. I'm sharing you love. I hope I'm sharing love with you. That's my intention. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sharing. And please do share. This episode is just about my update, right? Not a huge deal, not a ton of information, but I have a lot of episodes in the past. Please check them out. Please share with people that you love and people that you care about because I love you. And that's why I'm sharing with you. I'm not selling anything, folks. Fatso Radio is for you and for anybody you love who is willing to try and change. If you're looking for a change and if you're looking for a possible solution that might work, try it. Let me be your coach. Message me, email me, call me. I'll give you my number. Email me first though. Let me know what your questions are. Let me know what your struggles are if you're having any struggles. If you're not having any struggles, and if it's easy for you, let me know your success as well. One of the keys to this diet and any diet working is support, folks. You need support and you need a good coach, right? You can pay $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month for a coach, or you can send me your questions for now. Send me your questions. Send me your comments, send me your counter arguments or whatever. If you think what I'm doing is bad or you think what I'm doing is not right, let me know too, right? Let me know. The key to success in any diet, and I said it, I'm going to say it again, is a coach. The reason why this diet doesn't work for you, I'm telling you, from what I've heard over the last 4.5, 5 years, when people tell me this diet doesn't work, it's because they're just not sticking to it, right? Okay, easy enough, Carlo. Every diet doesn't work. It's because you don't stick to it. Yes. Why are you not sticking to it? Is it because it's hard? Or is it because you don't have enough options? Or you don't have enough ideas? Come to me. One of the biggest things I hear often is, I'm not sure what to eat. I'll tell you what to eat. Eat steak and don't feel bad about eating steak. Eat pork chops and don't feel bad about eating pork chops and chicken and lamb and buffalo and kangaroo or whatever the hell else you want to eat. Eat the animals, eat the good fat that comes with good protein, and you'll be healthy. Add salt to your food, you'll be healthy. Drink your water, get exercise, you'll be healthy. Do that. Try not to have that shit. Try not to have the shit in your diet, right? If Sober October is not your thing and you're not going to give up booze, you're not going to give up weed, you're not going to give up any sort of substance that you use, maybe sugar is a good test. I'll tell you, I'll put the challenge out there. Sugar is probably among the hardest things to give up. There's a lot of drugs I haven't done, folks. A lot of drugs. I've only done basically marijuana, right? Mushrooms, here you go. But giving up sugar, that's the real thing. That's the real hard thing. So giving up marijuana for a month, giving up sugar for a month. I've done the sugar for a month. I don't know if I've done the weed for a month, but it's been a while, right? I've done a lot of small breaks, but a month is going to be a good challenge for me. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to walk a lot. Thanks for listening, folks, and thanks for watching Fatso Radio episode number 87. Whew, another Friday night. Now it's 8:40. We're talking for a few minutes. I love you all. Fatso Radio loves you. FatsoRadio@gmail.com. Check it out. Share the word and share the love. I love you all. Fatso Radio. All right, Violet. Say thanks for listening. Let's say bye to everybody. Bye. And we'll say thanks for listening. Say thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening.
Bye-bye.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
Fatso Radio, the really great podcast show.
So get your butt and get in your chair.
Don't eat your nails and don't pull your hair.
We'll talk about chicken or talk about steak.
We'll talk about fat, for goodness sake.
Fatso, the really great podcast show.
Fatso,
a very first podcast show.